Eulogy on behalf of the family. Thanks, Stone. Good job. Wow. It's just daunting for me to sit there and knowing that it's almost like a final cell night with my father's physical body. Let me just, first and foremost, on behalf of our Chee family, thank you very much for being here. Yeah, thank you very much for being here. Your presence here means a lot to the family. I just want to share a very quick thing about my dad. You know, I was, after yesterday's wake service, we went back home. You know, some of you may not know, my dad is a very quiet person. And even with that, we miss his presence. That just speaks so much about him. He doesn't need to speak much. His presence itself, you know, is something that we really miss. And I'll start off with something light. You know, some dad's habit that some of us know very well, and we will definitely miss them. For the family members, even before that, I just want to say thank you very much for the family members who are at the back from Klang. Those people from Klang, my family members, thank you very much for being here. My dad loves each and every one of you very much. Even for the friends, and I believe that he wants you to know that he loves all of you very much. So some habit that my dad have, which the kids will miss as well, because when he drives, for those of you know, when he drives, and then my son, you know, my first few kids, they were like, why yeah like that, huh? You know, he drives and then he will go like that. You know, it's not the music, but it's just his habit. You know, he just like to. So I'll miss that. And the other thing that I'll miss dearly is that I love to tease my dad, especially when he's with my mom. You know, and I love to try to ignite their romance again. So each time when I tease him, and he will be like. You know, that means that, all right, son, you better don't go so far. But I'm enjoying it, you know. He's just cool that way. My dad, being my dad, he doesn't speak much. And usually we converse in mixed English and mostly Chinese, Cantonese. But when he comes to you and says, son, I need to talk to you. When he said, son, I need to talk to you in English, that means it's serious. That means there's an issue, right? Although he didn't do that much. The other thing that I'm going to miss him dearly is this, especially around the Makan area. You know, he has some issue with diabetic and high blood pressure. So we try to watch what he eats. And he's got this famous motto that all the family knows. He'll tell you, son, once a while. Once a while. But his once a while is almost every day. But I think of all this, I'll miss most. For those of you who do not know, my dad is very good with kids. I'm going to miss his magic trick. I'm going to miss his magic trick. And he did that with every single grandchild. He's blessed with 8 grandkids. And I said, hey, dad, do that to him. Do that. You know, do that to my kid, you know. I get excited too because it brings back so much memories. And he said, now you see it. Thank you, go. Then, now you don't. He actually has 2 denture kids. So my kids were like, wow, magic, where did it go to? And that's just my dad. But on a serious note, I know some of you may be wondering what happened, especially for those, thank you so much for your presence, yeah. For those who just came in, my family member from Klang. Some of you may be wondering what happened to Dad, and Donald said, have explained a little bit. It was my daughter's birthday. She's celebrating her 9 years old birthday. Yeah, we rented a studio and we were all very excited. So my mom, my wife, they were preparing at home, and we went to church together. And then we came back. He was helping me with the design, and he said, "Hey, Kelvin, this is better, this is better." And then after helping me, he said, I just need to have a drink and buy newspaper. So he went down alone, and I went to collect the cake. And halfway driving, thank you, Pastor Julie, for coming. And halfway driving, I got a call from a stranger. He said, "Are you the son of Sonny?" I said, "Yes." And he says, "Your dad just collapsed and he's not breathing." And then I said, "I'm coming straight away." And I was praying. I was praying in tongues. I was praying. I said, "God, give me strength. Give me wisdom, Lord God, in handling the situation. Help me to control my emotions." And before I arrived, I called Luisa, "Please run down and look for that, because it's a mamak nearby." And as soon as I arrived, this scene is just, I hope I will not have this scene again. I saw my dad lying down, and I ran towards him. They were doing CPR. So I quickly asked, "Is there pulse?" He says, "No, there's a weak pulse." And I said, "Have you done mouth to mouth?" He said, "No." Okay, so I started. And it brought back to mind 18 years ago. That was the first time I donated blood to my dad. And it was not really a successful one for me, because I fainted halfway. That was my first time. And now, little did I know, the first time I'm doing CPR on someone, and it was my own dad, first time. And I was just trying very hard. I was trying very hard, even though they said, he may not be breathing anymore. They got a doctor around the area, and she confirmed it, but we still try. And the ambulance came. I went together, and we're still pushing, trying to do CPR. But I was struggling inside, because the human part of me, I said, "Dad, I remember 18 years ago, you have second life. Yeah, you have second chance." And it brought back to mind a lot of things. And I said, "God, breathe into him." And I just read my devotion about God breathing into the dry bones, and I speak to life. I said, but at the same time, my human, natural mind having a debate with my spiritual man, and says, "Hey, he's in a better place. Be at peace. Be at peace." And I was just, even now, knowing that he's with his Creator, with his Father that loves him more than I do. Yeah, I'm still a human and still struggling that. But I want to share with you 5 things I learned from my dad, a hero. Yeah, a hero to me. I'm going to share with you 5 S that I learned. Because my sister, Melvin, Caleb have talked about his characteristic yesterday, and I just want to share something else. First one is his servant heart. My dad is such a servant. The Bible says you want to be great, first you need to serve. You need to be a servant. And for him, serving is as though he get bonus every time. When he see people being served, it's like ding, 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 ding. And sometimes as kids, as children, to my dad, I'm like, Dad, please don't. Please don't. You are overwhelming yourself and you are working, that is their role, just let them do it. He says, it's okay, son, it's okay, we do what we can. And that's just him. Sometimes we don't want my mom and dad to be so, how would I say, they love to cook, you all know that, right? And they love to serve. So I said, Dad, Mom, this is our party, we want you to enjoy. So we cater. But guess what? My dad will be going through the rubbish, helping, and that's just his nature. It's such a servant heart. I remember Benny, my close friend, is here. Adrian, VJ, a lot of young people. They love to hang out at my place, right? June, Shan, Kim, they all love to hang out at my place. And sometimes my dad is just like a driver, but he has no complaint at all. He just serves, right? So that's first as servant heart. Next thing is the sacrificial love. My dad has just this way of expressing his love, not through words. The quote that says that, preach the gospel, Christian, preach the gospel, but use words if necessary. That's my dad. That's my dad. He doesn't need to say much. His life projects who he believes in. And that's one day when I was 5 years old. Some of you already heard this. When I was 4 or 5 years old, and I saw my sister chewing gum, and she looked so cool. I was 5, so obviously Chinese said, hey, you're too young, and if you accidentally swallow it, you get stuck to the intestine and you blow up and you die, right? So they didn't allow me to chew, but I want to be cool like my sister. So I begged my parents to allow me, and they gave in. So I was chewing, I was looking cool, and I was running around, and I accidentally, guess what? That's right. I accidentally swallowed it, and I was like, oh no, I'm gonna die. I cried, I sobbed, I was so scared. I was so terrified and scared. And my dad was like, what happened? He came over and says, what happened? I said, Dad, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. I swallow the chewing gum. He says, no, you won't die, but you told me that when I swallow, I'm gonna die. And you know what he did? It will always remember in my memory. He just took another chewing gum from my sister. He popped it into his mouth, he chewed, and then he swallowed it. And says, see? I'm still alive. It's okay. It's going to be okay. That sacrificial love. That day, I said, Dad, you are my hero. And that is why, for those of you who know, I have a mission, a project. It's called Heroes Headquarters. Igniting heroes within family. That's because of him. It's because of him. The other thing that you may not know about my dad is he's such a sentimental person. Yeah. For those of you from Nestle, yeah, all of you from Nestle, can you imagine? My dad started the job in Nestle, retired in Nestle. Such a sentimental man. Regardless what the company goes through, regardless how he was treated, good, sometimes, tough, but hey, that is the commitment that he has given to the company. That's loyalty. He's sentimental to my mom as well. There are times, come on, every couple we know, we go through hard time, happy time. But he is the gentleman that he's, till now, he still opened doors and he waited for my mom each time, right? And he's such a sentimental guy. In fact, he has a lot of sentimental things that he keeps. Maybe I got that from him. Yeah. And you don't agree? The other S is he lives a simple life. He lives a very simple life, and the family member from Klang knows it. We know it. There's no bragging about what he wears, what car he drives, how big his house is. And that's just him. He lives a simple life, honest, simple life. And that's the man that I know, my dad. That really taught me about just be yourself. There's no qualm about him serving food. Hey brother, hey sister, how are you? Serve food in the chap fan. No qualms. And that's perhaps how we learn. It's okay. My mom sells chap fan. That's fine. It's honest living. My dad sometimes, have to go around, and he's just a simple person. And we learn about what gratitude is, what living in bountiful sometimes, may make us lose our gratitude to the things around us. Final S, I talk about sacrificial love. I talk about simple life. I talk about him being sentimental. I talk about servant heart. And finally, success. I learned something from my dad. I do training. I run training, right? And I love to probe. And my dad is a very quiet man, so I need to probe. I need to ask questions. And my family knows that I love to ask questions for reflection. Right, Don? Yeah? And so one day, as I was driving this year, because every year I've been bugging my dad, Dad, please write something for us. Write something. What success means to you? What do you still want to achieve that? He looked into my eyes and says, what else to achieve, son? I have a perfect family. I have a great family. They love the Lord. I have 8 grandchildren. To me, that's success. I really wanted him to write down his legacy, because that will be the legacy for us. But as I was driving back from the hospital 2 days ago, I said, what am I asking? Legacy? Come on. The legacy is in the lives of his children, in the lives of the grandchildren, in the lives of my mom, in the lives of each and every one of you. That is his legacy. Yesterday, when close friends came over and hugged me, I felt a part of his legacy, and that touched me. What Uncle Daniel shared, that is his legacy. That is success to him. For him, he doesn't need to write it down on paper, on books. He has written in our hearts. That is his legacy for all of us. My friends, family and relatives, if today is our final day, how would we live it differently if today is our final day? My dad has lived it for the Lord because he has fought a good fight and ran the race well. And now there's a crown of righteousness, waiting for him. And I, my son, as a son, that is the role model. That is the path that's been set for me. Although I struggle from a human perspective, but in spiritual sense, hey, I know one day that I'll see him again. So Mom, we're here, we'll go through this together, and Dad will always be smiling down. He's in a better place. once again, thank you so very much for your presence here. Thank you so very much. It means a lot to our family. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.